Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today I will talk about effect of hydrogen peroxide on biogas plants based on an article published in recent fermentation paper, which is the work in cooperation of Algeria, Novus Constantine University, under leadership of Abderrezzaq Benalia professor and the Italy University of Campania by the leadership of Professor Pirozzi. The paper innovative methods are major subquantities to spend coffee grounds generated in Algeria, transforming them into valuable renewable salts backed by gas methane. They study and investigate the efficacy of hydrogen peroxide per treatment in this issue. How hydrogen peroxide can be used to mesophytic conditions. The world is heavily dependent on fossil fuels. Depleting fossil fuels reserves and global warming has urged man to look for feasible eco-friendly alternatives for sustainable. Coffee is one of the world's second most beverage worldwide and the second largest commodity exchange after oil. Algeria, ranked by international is the second largest coffee consumer in Africa, consuming 1 billion 60 kilograms Copex coffee in 1 year. This substantial coffee consumption generates considerable amount spent coffee grounds, a byproduct of the coffee brewing. Based on reports of spent coffee grounds, the annual exceeding 0.7 million tons in Nigeria. These facilities can be used to biogas compared potential less practical. Among the pretreatments reported in the literature, chemical treatment is the most common and intensively have been enhanced biogas yield. The hydrogen peroxide is considered to be affected in from 0 to 4%, showing how it in effect. The activated surge used as inoculum for batch was collected from the wastewater treatment plant in Oued El Atamia, located in Mila, Algeria. It was collected at cafeteria and students' club building of Salah Boubentre in University of Constantine. This common practice in anaerobic digester studies ensure consistency in substrate composition. And the tests were carried out in which sample of 200 grams of the screw coffee grounds was soaked in the tap water peroxide and progressive formation of free radicals such as hydroxyl and hydroxyl organic matter decomposition. And the tests were carried out in 7 bottles. And each was the period amount of substrate ratio between constant alkalinity maintained at pH of around 7. The blank test using Nakora prepared to measure the quantity of methane only by the biomass. The bottle flashed with pure argon for 3 to 4 minutes, maintain anaerobic conditions. Total solid soluble chemical demand of oxygen is demand or total nitrogen ketone ammonia, and alkalinity were determined according to protein content by a factor of 6.25 as sugars. Modified Gomper's models with the logistic function are proposed as to calculate the kinetic parameters of the ID process. The chemical composition of coffee ground linked to the initial coffee beans used is tested. Alkalinity indicates the buffering capacity to neutralize acids which could be protected against low pH and aerobic digestion. Liquid alkalinity is very necessary to maintain the pH of the reactor. The total Hida concentration is released with ammonia and nitrogen from 1 to 131. All values are compared with those in the untreated in order to conceive the effect of alkaline treatment. Saturation observation aligns with the findings of whole comparable effects in which straws treated with hydrogen peroxide across different concentrations. The hydrogen peroxide were from 0 to 0.5 to 4%. This total solid was the highest in 2%, 20%. So this made the organic was washed the best in this case. This oxygen demand was highest in 4%, 110. Total solid protein was the biggest in case of 1% and 0%. So this difference will match and reagent digestion. The 0% and 1 to 4%, and this cumulative bagasse production, the highest was in 4%, 63.55 milliliters. However, the dex was in 1%. Note in 2% was smaller than 4 and 1. So this that 2 optimums are produced. However, methane was also in 4%, and then to 1%. So 1 and 4 was good, better than 2. This is interesting because usually it's 1 optimum, whereas here is 2 optimums. This makes that is not only can be produced in 1 optimum, but also in coffee with 2. So significant increase of chemical oxygen demand and sugar leakage 5, but treatment gave negative results. So 4% was given as 1%. So it helps so was the highest in case of 0 and 1. 1 and 4, because was in every case without was better unless there was 2%. Every part higher than 2% than for 2% was the binding. So this is the strange because since that there are middle, there is neck, so this shows that there is no only one additives optimum, but can be several. So these points is interesting. I think that should be compared. So thank you very much for listening.